everyone, it's your Screen Jockey Chris here.
And I'm your Screen Jockey Justin.
Today, we're going to be diving into the newly released trailer for James Gunn's Superman. Set to premiere on July 11, 2025, this film marks a significant shift in the DC universe, introducing David Corenswet as Clark Kent Superman and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. James Gunn is known for his work on Guardians of the Galaxy and The Suicide Squad, and he's going to bring a fresh perspective to the Man of Steel. His approach draws inspiration from various eras of DC Comics, notably All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, and Superman for All Seasons by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. So many names in there. These influences suggest a blend of classic optimism with modern complexity, aiming to redefine Superman for a new generation. So Justin, you ready to check this trailer out?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
On your mark.
Let's go.
Are you being serious right now?
Metropolis looks great.
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
That's a scoop.
That is a scoop. So she already knows that he's Superman. That's cool. That's interesting.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Thanks, Walter.
Miss Lane.
I'm actually excited for
Recently, you've
Rachel
come under a lot
Brosnahan
of
there.
fire for
I
what
know,
some
it's a
might.
lot of
It's
fire,
a lot.
Okay. So he's been around. He's established in this
Today,
world.
the
This is not
Secretary of
an
Defense
origin
said he was
story.
going to look into your actions. That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Okay.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman.
Wow. Very interesting take.
Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States will
representing
cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the world.
And doing good.
That's such a killer shot right there.
I
Yeah.
would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
Whew. That looks intense.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Very cool. That brings back vibes of the original Superman.
Obviously.
The musical score is incredible here.
Your choices,
What?
your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Superman.
Nicholas Hoult is
He's not a
Lex
man.
Luthor. I think it's going to be promising.
He's an it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
There's Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion. That's beautiful. Look at that logo. The rebrand of the S there. It's nice.
You have a dog?
That's what I was thinking.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, with all the teasers we've been seeing, that gets me very excited to see more of the story. Very
Right
cool.
on. I don't recognize any other character except for like the three mains, you know, Superman, Lois Lane, and Baldy, Nicholas Hoult, as Lex Luthor.
As we saw, you know, Nathan Fillion's going to be one of the Green Lanterns, and I think he's playing
Oh.
the Guy Gardner.
That's a haircut. That's a
Yeah, it is a haircut. I know.
Whoa. I noticed that. I see you, Nathan Fillion. That's cool.
He's so cool to be, you know, just he's down for like anything. And of course, I'm a huge fan of his. And so it's exciting to see him a part of it. Of course, they've collaborated.
Well, yeah, I
ever
saw
since
Serenity
Slither.
in the theater. Come on. How can you not be a
I know,
fan?
right?
Even my wife's a fan.
And then she wasn't in the this trailer, but they've shown some other teases of Hawkgirl is going to be in it. And that's the only other real
don't even
like
know who that
DC
is.
character that I'm super
okay.
familiar with.
Okay.
So yeah, but I mean, I think there's a lot going on in that trailer there. I mean, there was a lot of storytelling, a lot of cool action, a lot of bigger monsters, which is very exciting rather than him just fighting another super powered man.
Yeah, there was like a fucking dinosaur.
What was that gecko-looking thing?
Or like a Terrask for all the D&D nerds out there.
Yeah, that was very exciting, man. I'm excited for it. I mean, I grew up on Christopher Reeve's Superman, and so there's a lot of homage and vibes to that old.
I know that's a very
Richard
meaningful
Donner.
one to you. I know you have a lot of history with the original Donner film. I don't have as much history with Superman. I've seen them all just because I'm a movie nerd, you know what I mean? But that one never touched me on an emotional level. I've never been super connected to Superman. I mean, Superman's fine. That's it. Like I've never been a hater. I've just never been super attached. But
I get that. Yeah.
But one of the things that caught my eye with this one that I want to see, and I noticed it when I saw Interstellar for its 10-year anniversary a couple of months ago,
Right.
which was gorgeous. There was a teaser for this on that, and what caught my eye, especially at at scope when it was that big, was that there were several shots that were kind of unusual that I hadn't seen recently. And so I had to go online to figure out what it was. And they're using a special lens, which is actually a photo lens, and it's a 3-in-1 photo
Yeah.
lens. But that's how they're able to get so close and yet be so to the subject, be so wide that you still get like the background around the person.
Right.
It's a lot harder to do that than you would think. And so immediately my eye picked up on that, and I looked it up, and it's interesting what they did to get that.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of ties back into what Zack Snyder was trying to do with his way he was shooting, because he wanted to bring those panels to life. And now that we just watched that trailer together after now knowing about this new lens thing, I was like, they are capturing a lot in a little frame there. And it was impressive. And I think that's what
It's
they're
more
trying to go for
intimate
is-
that way instead
Yeah.
of big and wide like Zack Snyder kind of tends to do. Not that they're not gorgeous shots or
he
whatever.
did that more vertical,
But it's big and
thing
wide.
for the Snyder cut. I don't know if you saw the Snyder
I did
cut.
not.
Don't worry. I mean, most people loved it. It wasn't for everyone, is all I have to say to
I
that. But
gotcha.
he was trying to be more vertical with his filming actually for that one is what I'm talking about. And so
Oh.
for them doing something unique for this is trying to tie into what does the comic book look like and feel like? What do those panels look like and feel like? And sometimes, I mean, it's an artist, right? So an artist can put in all this detail and depth into a frame if they want to. So I think that's what they're going for. So just for your specs out there, for you camera nerds, this is the Leica Tri-Elmar M 16 by 18 by 21 millimeter.
It's got
f4.
3 wide angles in
Yeah.
one.
And like you said, it's a photography lens that was somehow like transformed
Adapted.
into this camera
They do.
lens. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a
So-
Warner Brothers. It's a huge studio picture. They can do things like that.
They can do things like that.
Which
So-
is one of the fun things about working in that environment is like they're really, most of those people are like us. They nerd out, when they get their hands on some of this stuff. It's like, oh my God, this is so cool. Guess what we get to do with this? They really, really like to do it, and they like to present it to us. So even though I don't care so much about maybe the character of Superman, but that's just a personal thing. That doesn't have anything to do with anybody else or anyone's
me,
personal taste or anything.
Superman was just the first comic book I was introduced to. And I grew up in the time where the death of Superman was like the biggest comic book experience you could have. And I did collect that and the resurrection of him. And it was a big
remember
deal.
that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wasn't like a big comic
I mean,
book
comics
kid.
were always there. I had
They were-
friends who were into
exactly. They were
comics,
always
so
around.
it was just like any other pop culture
Yeah.
sort of thing. I absorbed stuff
But
through
I
my friends.
did have a lot of Superman. My dad was a big DC guy. He's an older dude,
on.
so he passed on a lot of more of the Flash, Superman, Justice League, that kind of vibe onto me. And when you're a kid, you just kind of absorb what an adult is telling you. So it was like, this is the coolest thing. You're right. He never had a Marvel comic book, so I had nothing to compare it to. But yeah, I do remember the death of Superman, and the Richard Donner movies for a while. That was just the Superman movie you had, right? So
Sure.
it was just exciting. And then
Well,
they
and there was a
didn't
lot
touch
that they
Superman
did in
for a long
that
time.
was like pretty fucking rad. And the original score, like they're sort of homaging, as you said,
Yeah, a little
with the text and the credit sequence. Like that's an amazing opening credit sequence. I mean, that came out in 78 and I was born in 81. So by the time, I was old enough to like watch movies when I was like 3 or 4, I remember seeing that play on TV, and I always liked that opening.
That
the rest
intro
of
gets you hyped, man.
Is Gene Hackman in the original? Is that Gene Hackman?
Yeah, right. He plays
Yeah,
Lex
yeah.
Luthor in the original.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I like Gene Hackman. He's a
Yeah.
maniac.
But Nicholas Hoult. Okay, so I mean, I don't want to just put people down, but Jesse Eisenberg had nothing of no importance as Lex Luthor in the other
What did you
DC
think about
movies.
Brandon Routh as Superman?
Brandon Routh as Superman. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Smallville. It was just a
No,
villain of the-
Brandon Routh was in Superman.
Oh, my bad. Right.
Singer,
The
Superman Returns.
Superman that they rebooted. It was so mediocre of a movie. It was hard to even judge his performance in it. He didn't do anything wrong, and he was definitely embodying like a continuation of the Christopher Reeves films, which is what it was supposed to be of. But that movie was so forgettable, instantly forgettable.
Yeah.
So I mean, for those of you out there, I'm trying not to dog all over DC movies, but it's been a while since I've enjoyed a Superman movie. And when they cast Henry Cavill, I was super excited, but then it felt like they did nothing for his character. And now it's just gone on, and now we have to reboot. So I am interested to see what they do with this. I thought it was cool watching the interview and how Superman's established. Apparently his alter ego doesn't mean anything because she's interviewing him as Superman, even though she knows he's Clark Kent. So I can't wait to see what story they're going with, because it doesn't feel like an origin story. And that kind of excites me. We get his origin. Comes from another planet, comes here, sun makes him strong. He saves the day. Let's get into something more deep.
Okay, right on.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
If you got nothing else, I don't really have anything else. Guys, this isn't New Rockstars. We're not here to break down the trailer, but I am excited for what I just saw. I hope you're excited, Justin. Is this something you think you go check out?
Oh, yeah,
in the
definitely.
theater?
It's going to be one of the biggest movies of the summer. Of course I'll go see it.
Too. Well, right
Please.
on. So if you're excited about this Superman and the reboot of the DC Universe from acclaimed director James Gunn, let us know. Or
I've seen all of his other movies.
Yeah, just let us know if it's too late to redirect this DC ship. I think James Gunn is a good person, but I want to hear from you guys. Drop your opinions below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps more than you think. And if you like this and want more of it, hit that subscribe button. I'm your Screen Jockey, Chris.
And I'm your Screen Jockey, Justin.
And we'll see you in the next one.